The quiet art of wholehearted living. In a small village nestled between rolling hills and quiet rivers, there lived a humble potter named Elias. Every day, Elias shaped clay with steady hands, not for wealth or fame, but because the act itself brought him peace. He never measured his worth by how many pots he sold or how perfect they looked, but by the care he put into each one. To Elias, the true value of his work was in the process. The attentive shaping, the careful smoothing, and the mindful firing. He believed that doing something with sincerity and dedication was a reward in itself, far beyond any external recognition. One morning, a young traveler came to Elias's workshop, curious about the simple pots displayed on the wooden shelves. "Why do you spend so much time on each pot?" the traveler asked. "Wouldn't it be easier to rush and make many?" Elias smiled gently. "When I work, I don't aim to make many. I aim to make each one whole, true to its nature and with a heart free of regret. The joy I find in this keeps my spirit light, and that is enough." The traveler nodded slowly, sensing there was more beneath Elias's words. "But what if you make a pot that's not perfect? Does that not bother you?" Elias took a piece of clay, shaped it clumsily, and laughed softly. "Perfection is not the point. What matters is that I tried my best, that I gave all my heart and effort. If a pot cracks or warps, it tells a story. It teaches me to be better next time. The joy is in the journey, not in an impossible goal." Days passed, and the travelers stayed in the village, watching Elias work with patience and calm. Sometimes, the potter's hands would tremble with age, or the kiln would fail to fire just right, but Elias never lost his peace. His heart was always full because he did everything he could with honesty, and in doing so, found fulfillment. One evening, under a sky bursting with stars, Elias shared one last thought. "When you do something, do it fully. Do it with love, without fear of results or judgment. When your heart is at ease, no matter the outcome, you have truly succeeded." Inspired by Elias's words, the traveler decided to try something new. He gathered clay by the river and began to shape it, not caring about skill or result, but only focusing on the feeling in his hands and heart. At first, his pots were uneven and fragile, but he kept going, learning to listen to the clay and his own patience. Slowly, the traveler noticed a shift inside himself. The frustration faded, replaced by a quiet joy that came from simply doing his best, no matter how small or imperfect the creation. Each pot became a mirror of his effort and care, a silent celebration of presence and dedication. When he returned to Elias, he shared, "I understand now. It is not about being the best or the fastest. It's about being true to what we do and finding peace in our own hearts while we do it." Elias nodded, pleased. "Exactly. Life's worth is not counted by grand achievements or praise, but by the moments we live fully, the love we pour into each step, and the honesty we hold with ourselves." Seasons changed, and the traveler left the village carrying not just pots, but a new way of seeing the world. Wherever he went, he practiced the quiet art of wholehearted effort. Whether in small tasks or big challenges, he no longer sought applause or measurable success, but the simple satisfaction of having done his best with a clear conscience and a joyful heart. Years later, he returned to the village, not as a traveler, but as a teacher of this gentle philosophy. He told others, "We don't need to chase greatness or fear failure. What matters is that we act with sincerity, that we finish what we start with care, and that we find happiness in the doing itself." The village flourished quietly, its people inspired by the simple truth that fulfillment comes from dedication and inner peace, not from external rewards. And in this, everyone found a shared joy. A harmony where hearts were light and efforts meaningful, no matter how small the task. And so life went on, full of purpose in the present moment, a celebration of doing well, doing fully, and doing with love. Clumsily in a way that is awkward or lacking skill. Nestled settled or snuggled comfortably and securely. Tremblito shaken voluntarily, usually from fear, excitement, or cold. Warps bends or twists out of shape.